Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the part six, I basically pointed out the fact that one has to change the structure of the schools in order to develop a mind of people as a nation to be self-sustainable and to make the country, functional and progressive without the, you know, so-called complexities that they create through education, etc. So how do we transform the schools? So I've said the schools are the ready-made markets. They've got the actual people that can work and they can produce the food for the different areas. The students can be paid, etc. And you have a wider range of disposable income, meaning money that can be spent in order to buy products, which means it will increase the productivity as well as the profits, etc. And then more investments, etc. can happen. So how do you change the education? You have to drop the grade system and you drop the examination system to, in actual fact, create a kind of a family-based institution where the young are helped by the older. The older gets the example of the bigger ones, and and you get a kind of a knowledge base that is completely integrated. Now, it's difficult for people to do that in the silos that we have created in the education system in order to develop the industrialized kind of specialization for mass production. That's the whole system is based on that. So when you come into to looking at the whole particular picture and simplifying it, then it becomes difficult because people are in silos. They only think in their particular, field. They're not widely, operative. I think that is the first thing that made me realize that if you want to understand a text like the Quran, etc., you cannot come from just a science perspective or just a psychology perspective or just a business perspective. You gotta know everything. You got as much as you can, and you also have to go into language, etc., and the nuance of languages, etc., in order to understand a deeper aspect of the Quran. Because if the Quran is like a book for all times, and it's one book. This is the exciting part of it. It's one book for all ages, all times, all particular situations. So if there's one book for that, then obviously one can extract from that book a particular methodology that will in actual fact enhance a community entirely. So what I did was, firstly, as a 19-year-old, I realized I need to do as much as possible. So I majored in many fields, not knowing that I'm going to develop a kind of an holistic approach to education. But this is how Allah Ta'ala develops a person and gives him that opportunities. So what I did is to find out the problem in education is that there's too many textbooks. The textbooks in the real text that's oversupplied with exercises, etc. It's based for a teacher-centered education, and in the same way, it actually fact itemizes it so much that you lose the basic holistic value of the actual feature that you are learning. And and then what I also discovered is the fact that with all the different teachers, it actually creates a kind of a cycle of disorientation of the student itself, because the student is like having to adjust to everybody, so personality and all the homework, etc. So the educational infrastructure itself is disturbing to the whole progress of a country. So what I did is to create one book, okay, and take the top curriculum, which is the matric and beyond in my university work, and compile one book with all the lessons fully prepared for the child. It's learner centered, and also it's a full preparation that teacher doesn't have to prepare any lessons. It's all done, and this is all the subjects in particular in this particular book. Then what I did is to that is for students beyond 12 years old, up till 17 and beyond. Okay, and then and on a smaller scale, from the still from 6 years old, etc., I created the one book with all the subjects in here as well, which is also self-teaching. So all the lessons are done. There's no preparation of in actual fact lessons by teachers, etc. The parent, the teacher, and the child's on one particular flow, and then everybody can actually work together, because you can use one particular feature and split it up into the elementary feature as well as the advanced feature in one particular class, in one particular group. So now automatically now you gain an enormous amount of energy that was lost. You gain that, and you also advance at the same time. So the other feature that I created right on me now is the poetry book, where the poem in actual fact summarizes the whole particular curriculum and the aims of it and the integration of it, which allows a learner to develop a vocabulary and a quick access to the whole of the idea. And this was powerful in the sense that you get an advancement of students and parents at the same time, because now it's not like broken up into pieces and you get question in grade 12, but something that you needed to know in grade 8 is in that particular question paper and you've forgotten about it. So I always use the example of a movie. We go watch a movie, or somebody asks you to tell the movie after you go, and you can't even remember the whole feature. You don't know the actors, etc. So it's just we got a short memory span. So you need to be able to use it. Start from the big point and then analyze it. Exactly what the Quran is about. It's like it's a massive task, and you can actually break it down and teach it on the lower level, and at the same time you're moving from the top to the bottom. You start from the top and you move through the practice of the basic features. I always take driving. You cannot teach a person how to drive by today you switch on the car, tomorrow you're going to steer, the next day you're going to apply the brake. You got to teach them entirely in terms of what driving a car. Then practice that. And as you practice that, you become so skilled that you do it so automatically that you can do other things while you are driving. And you can actually respond to any difference on the road because of your consistent skill. So if you start off with grade 12 work, okay, if you put it like that, and you simplify it instead of in not having 4 steps, which is for grade 12. Now you've got 20 steps. You can actually go through each particular part separately. Now all the children are participating in it. And you can see the children will be able to handle where they can handle. And this allows learners to actually make progress fast, because it's not kind of broken kind of groups, which actually I say is the development of gangsterism if you separate groups into ages. So when you actually develop that kind of thing and you get all the resources ready, it makes learning accessible to everybody, fast and also advanced at the same time. And that's where we should be in terms of developing a society that is self-sustainable, that is open, and that is supportive of each other. Inshallah. Wallahu ta'ala. Shukran. Thank you.